Good morning and welcome to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Canton. My name is Don Seaman. I'm a member at large on the parish board, and I will be your worship associate. There we go. I'm a worship associate. It's a new term in my vocabulary. And I'm joined this morning by our minister, Reverend Dr. Clyde Grubbs. Our intern Elizabeth is home ill today, and she decided not to share, so we're getting by without her. This community honors diversity and joyfully welcomes all who share the values and principles of our congregation. And we're glad to know that you have come to worship with us here this morning. Let's see, announcements. As you may see in the insert in the announcements, this month's Faith in Action collection is for the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee Ukraine Fund. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, if we go back in history to 1939, Reverend Waitzel Sharp and his wife Martha took a risk and went to Czechoslovakia at the beginning of the Second World War, and were helping refugees escape Nazi persecution in Europe. And weeks after their arrival, they watched Hitler's troops march into Prague. They were shadowed by Gestapo agents, and their offices were ransacked. They had to burn files to protect refugees and protect the identities of people that they were helping. And they narrowly escaped being arrested by the Nazis, and they returned to the United States. In the following year, in 1940, the Unitarian Service Committee, which is the predecessor to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, was established. And basically, they've been doing good works for 80 years. The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is separate from the UUA, but it's kind of like an appendant body of sorts. They're a non-sectarian organization that advances human rights and social justice in the United States and around the world, envisioning a world free from oppression and injustice where we can all realize full human rights. So, in essence, we would encourage you to make your donations to the Faith in Action collection that we're taking up this month for the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee Ukraine Fund. All right, Reverend Clyde.
Into this place may we come to share, to learn, to speak, to listen, and to grow together in the spirit of peace, harmony, and love. We gather to seek and share comfort for the hurts that afflict. We gather because together we support each other in our search for truth and meaning. So we light this chalice that we might answer the aspirations with the yes of our lives. Please join me in the words of the historic covenant of this church. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its document. Service is its prayer. Together we shall peace, respect, and understanding, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve souls and grow together into harmony. Thus do we we worship. Let us join in 1000 in the green hymnal. Morning has come, number 1000.
Joy and sing a song of gladness.
Elizabeth Foster, who is going to tell a story. And Elizabeth Foster isn't here, so I said, I guess I'm going to tell a story. So I had to tell a story from my brain, my memory, and it's been a few years since I did that because of this pandemic thing. So imagine, there are two frogs, and they're hopping along, hop, 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 hop. And they're enjoying themselves, and they're enjoying themselves so much that they begin to hop higher and higher and just giving up the hopping to the possibilities of a hop again, more hops. So they're hopping. And both of them hop so high, they come right down into a vat of milk. And the milk vat is so slippery that they can't get out. And we're going to drown, we're going to drown, we're going to drown, says one frog to the other. And the other frog says, swim, swim, swim as if your life depends on it, because it does. Well, the frog with doubt said to himself, swimming, we're going to get tired in swimming, and we're going to die swimming. The other frog just sort of divined his thoughts and said, we need to swim, swim, swim. So they kept swimming and swimming in the milk, and they kept swimming in the milk, and they kept swimming in the milk, and we're going to die, we're going to die. Swim, swim, swim. And it went on until that milk turned into butter. And they walked right out of the vat. There's a lesson there somewhere.
So now is the time in our service where we invite you to share your treasure with us so that we might keep the doors open, the lights on, and the heat up to par. You can do this online as well. Just please be sure to, if you're using the PayPal, to put a memo in there indicating what your donation is for. That would also apply to your donations to the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee.
Elizabeth was leading the prayer, so we're going to join in doing it together. And it's 527 in your gray hymnal. And if you say one line at a time and wait a few seconds, those of you who can't find your hymnal can just catch up. It is eternity now.
I am in the midst of it.
It is about me in the sunshine.
I am in it as the butterfly in the light-laden air.
Nothing has to come. It is now. Now is the eternity.
Now is the immortal life.
Eternity, mortal life. Let us hold those thoughts in our hearts as we join in the communion of silence, contemplating the eternal now.
And before you put your hymnals away, we'll be doing a shared reading, number 660 in the back of your hymnal, To Live Deliberately. Why should we live in such a hurry and waste of life? I wish to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life. I do not wish to live what is not life, living is so dear. I wish to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life. If it proves to be mean, then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it and publish its meanness to the world. That's by Henry David Thoreau, for those of you online.
Hymn number 391, the musical interlude. A wise one was asked by a disciple, "What is the greatest gift in the world?" And without hesitation, the wise one replied, "To have all of the time that you need." But the wise one then deferred. He said, "But such a gift is given to no one. Each person must help themselves to a portion and learn to use it wisely. Else the blessings of this most precious of all gifts will be denied. Will be denied." Who has all the time they need? Anyone checking? Isn't it a common complaint? Not enough time. We worry, will we finish this project or that? We're asked ourselves, will we ever get it done? And there's that popular sweatshirt slogan, perhaps you've seen it. God gave me a number of things to do in this life, the sweatshirt says. A number of things to do in this life. And at the rate I'm going, I'm never going to die. We know that feeling behind that slogan, and perhaps we smile. Indeed, this year of 2023 may be just the most time-conscious time of all times. Most of us have our watches and our appointment books. We have our alarm clocks, so we've turned all those things over to smartphones, and they zing and bip and ring for us, and we try to keep our appointments. We try not to be late. It is considered a virtue to be punctual. Resentment is aroused when people keep us waiting, and we are taught as children to manage our time. We have slogans from Ben Franklin to help us out with those. Time, right? Time is money. Money is time. A stitch in time saves 9. But we should not go so fast that we don't pay attention. Remember, haste makes waste. So people go through their lives with an eye on the clock, checking off things on their to-do list, all the time feeling insecure, worried that they may not be using the most precious resource well. I have actually had 3 conversations in the last month about not using my time well. Alas, waste not want not. Doesn't apply to time. We might be diligent about the use of time and still we waste not a second, but we want more time. There are whole industries devoted to managing time. You can put your little ad out and say, I will manage your time, and you'll get calls. Time management is such a sacred cow that seems weird for us to just question. Why would you want to manage your time? It's such a conventional assumption. So I'm going to question it. I'm going to question it because not because I'm free of time management myself. I do look at my computer to find out what I'm doing next. I do look at clocks. I actually read email about every 2 hours now. Not because I'm free of time management, but because I'm a Unitarian Universalist. And part of the whole faith is to question time, question assumptions, question cultural orthodoxies. So I try not to be late, and I juggle 2 dues on my calendar, but I try to get things done, appointments, meetings, telephone calls to make. For me, there's the writing. Sermons, worship services, classes, letters, columns. I always need to remind myself that writing takes time, and every lifestyle, every profession, every person has their unique way of consuming time and being in time. And even when we consider our unique and special situation, we recognize a common reality for most of us. The most hectic economy in the world must know about how to do time, be there on time, get it done on time, do it all in the least amount of time. We do it, and some of us do it more than others. We try to get time under control at one time or another, and we can identify with Rabbit and Alice in Wonderland. I'm late for a most important date. Yet the more we try to manage it, the more time slips away, moves on, just keeps on ticking. The to-do list grow, the pending files swell, and we may complete the daily tasks. But tomorrow, it always has a whole new list, new things to do. Maybe the notion of time as a resource to be managed is a wrong premise. It's based on the wrong assumption. It's based on a cultural assumption unique to these last couple of centuries. Indeed, we can ask ourselves, do we really ever succeed in conquering time? Perhaps there's something problematic about the effort itself. Should we try to fit as many tasks into a few minutes as we can? Is that what life is all about? Let me think about a little more about time. What is time? What is it? We notice it going by and our clocks beat out in mechanical regularity, but time as we live it, without looking at clocks, without measuring time, isn't like clock time at all. There are times when hours go by in the winking of an eye, exposing every dimension of that incredibly short unit of measure. We say, it's 2 hours, and I've been reading. They tell us that a lifespan of a subatomic particle is measured in milliseconds. The fundamental stuff of our existence, our cosmic glue, that which makes the universe weigh something, is a second too long to measure. Everyone has experienced what has become a cliche. The watch pot does not boil, or anything doesn't really boil. It may seem to take forever. Go do something. I do it all the time. Go do something, become engaged, in some project, and that pot has boiled away. Subjective time, we could call it, is not like clock time. We perceive both long and short time, full time and empty time, as reflections of our activity and time. And then there's remembered time. Remembered time. How long is a year? Has it been a long time since you last saw a good friend? I've missed my friends, and the absence seemed like an eternity. And then I would recall my friend, and the time seemed very long, and I would rail against the long time separation and look forward to the potential time of reunion. Too long! But how long is it? How long had the separation been? 8 months? A long, long, long 8 months. But then I recall someone I met 8 months ago, a new friend, somebody I'm still getting acquainted with. And in 8 months, long enough to make a new friend? An old friend? New friend? When it comes to relationship, who keeps time? Who keeps time? Each person determines that for themselves, usually after the fact. We're not consistent. Time, think back over your life. What do you remember? The busy days of rushing, the accomplishments, the achievements, the well-managed days? Is that what you remember? Or do you recall the moments of beauty in a special place? The lake in summer, or perhaps looking out over a vista, the mountains at a wonderful beach. Maybe moments of closeness with special friends, beloved relationships who have passed away. If much of our lives is spent rushing, looking at clocks, keeping appointments, doing things, why don't we recall those things when we remember? Those achievement-filled times, we don't remember them. They get jungled together. Most of us remember the intimate moments, the special people. I remember conversations with my grandmother. That was 65 years ago. Conversations with my grandmother 65 years ago. The Greeks had 2 words for time, chronos and kairos. Time as a fate to be endured, time without differential, time as steady flow of the sand down the lower chambers of the hourglass, time as outside of our lives, judging us and moving on, leaving us behind. That's chronos. Clock time. That's the rule of time over us. This is the time we try to manage. And being one of those powerful fates, in the Greek understanding, fates are not conquerable, Chronos always manages us. But Kairos is different. Kairos breaks into our lives and connects us to something bigger. Kairos is experiences moments of insight, moments of deep and powerful peace, moments of growth and decision, moments in which we are defined by the moment. Beyond the fates, knowing freedom from the tick-tuck of Chronos. We are so sophisticated, so knowledgeable, and yet we try to manage Chronos as if it was Kairos. What we do is we call this quality time. We say, this is quality time. Time that we reserve and even scheduled time we set aside. Time for intimate things. The Cherokee and many other indigenous people ask their young people to set aside time and go to a place free of distractions for days and days all alone, and to commune with the ancestors, commune with the Creator, commune with the clouds blowing over you, sit in the rain and feel the rain, and to be fully present to the cosmos, the great mystery. This is a rite of passage which is often translated as vision quest, and it might be called Kairos time. A seclusion to know time beyond time. A time when you meet, you know that you. I can't imagine somebody going on a vision quest with a clock. It doesn't work that way. So you become one with the creation and become one with all the ancestors, with the all souls. The ancient Jews knew about setting aside time for what they called the holy day. 6 days shall your labor, and on the seventh you shall rest. Honor the Sabbath, keep it holy. Special time, sit and pray. Many of us find that setting aside special time for special activities, singing, worshiping, visiting with friends, and visiting with beloveds who are no longer walking on this earth, all these have a special aspect of Sabbath. So we say, this is good quality time, and it's a good idea. But Kairos moment cannot be planned. Even if quality time can be planned, Kairos time can't. Sometimes it breaks in upon us, and those times we must be there for Kairos, being present to the moment that was unexpected, that was a breakthrough, and it could have happened any time, even at 2:30 at night. The wisdom of the ancestors teaches us to be open to Kairos, to moments when we know timelessness. Perhaps you have read the New Testament storyteller called Mark. Mark writes, and he has Jesus say these words, "The time is fulfilled and the kinship of God has come near. Turn, and know the good news." That's what Mark says. Mark wrote his story in Greek, and we've translated it into English, and I've translated it into Clyde's English too. And what we just heard was translation. So I'm going to translate it in a whole new way. Kairos is completely here. The power of all that is holy is within your reach. Renew your hearts. Hear the news of well-being. Or perhaps this. You are totally in this moment, and this moment of profound connection to all being. All that has ever been is present in this moment. Now, knowing the people who print Bibles, I don't think they're going to take my translation and use it. But I believe it captures the meaning in a sense. I can read the Greek because I went to theological school, so I read the English, and it's been missing something in translation. Perhaps a new translation will help us hear the wisdom. But the time of our lives is now. That's the point that was being made. The time of our lives is now. Embrace it. Perhaps schedule quality time to embrace it because you're too busy now. The time of our lives is now, and the moments that give depth and character to our lifetime. Yet to live in the time of our lives, we must cultivate humor, learn to smile, step back, not rush forward. I'm late for a most important date. Let it go. And realize we can make good use of time. Time isn't something we can control. We could instead become aware of the quality of time. Learn to give the moments of our lives the necessary attention. Letting go of those precious moments be a new revelation to us, an unveiling of the time of our lives. Go in peace. The closing hymn is we laugh, we cry. It's number 354 in the gray hymnal, and we're going to sing it. benediction. Be who you are called to be in any and all the ways you can. Seek justice, resist injustice, add your voice, extend your reach, hold on to that long arc of history like your lives depend upon it, and pull with as much strength as you have or as little, so that together we might help continue to bend in the direction of justice, peace, and hope and promise. For you and for me, for us and for them, go now in peace, go now in love.
So for the postlude, the song I'm going to sing is one of my very favorites, called Some Other Time. It's by Leonard Bernstein, from the first Broadway musical he ever wrote, called On the Town. You may have seen the movie. 3 sailors get a 24-hour shore leave, and they get together with 3 girls and have the time of their lives. But they have to go back to the ship 24 hours later. And when the show premiered, it was 1944. It was during World War II. And people didn't know if they would see some people ever again. But there's a hope expressed in the song, which is beautiful, which, of course, Hollywood cut out of the movie, along with just about the whole Leonard Bernstein score. But anyway, another story. "24 hours can go so fast. You'll look around, the day has passed. When you're in love, time is precious stuff. Even a lifetime isn't enough." The time all gone to, haven't done half the things we want to. Oh well, we'll catch up some other time. This day was just a token. Many words are still unspoken. Oh well, we'll catch up